Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Luke and I do perfume reviews. Today I have a video about Sophia Grojsman's perfumes for you, so let's jump right in. Sophia Grojsman is one of the most legendary perfumers of all time. She not only revolutionized the perfume industry, but also challenged the traditional approach to creating perfumes by introducing a linear note structure as opposed to the conventional top, middle, and base notes. She created her own accord called the Hug Me Accord. Since the late 70s, she has created countless iconic fragrances that have become timeless classics, and many of which remain incredibly popular today. I believe that her signature style comes from her philosophy of perfume and life. She said in an interview that she wants her fragrances to make people happy, and that perfume is like music to people's souls. I'm confident that many of her fragrances have touched the hearts and souls of countless individuals. She has created so many iconic scents that there's hardly a woman or a man who hasn't worn or at least experienced one of her creations over the past 50 years, because she has been creating perfumes since the late 70s. Her fragrances are never without uniqueness and personality, yet she manages to make them soft, comforting, and powdery. Allegedly, one of the fragrances that inspired her the most was L'Heure Bleue from Guerlain, a classic powdery scent. She also loves flowers, and rose is said to be her favorite flower, so it's no coincidence that it can be found in many, if not most, of her creations. We'll start with her first fragrance that she created in 1978 for Estée Lauder. It's called White Linen, and it's an iconic, timeless classic scent from the late 70s, loved by many, hated by many. It's an aldehydic floral. It's fresh, clean and crisp, but also very floral. White Linen is a perfume typical of its time. Despite its freshness and soapiness, it's a larger-than-life fragrance. It's not modern. Instead, it exudes the essence of a 70s perfume. It's characterized by its prominent, piercing, vintage-style aldehydes, the bitter soapy hyacinth, rose, and the spicy carnation. The entire aldehyde and floral galore is accompanied by the base notes of oak moss, cedar, vetiver, amber, and honey, which provide a beautiful, peaceful conclusion to this explosive symphony of notes. White Linen evokes images of starched, crispy white sheets and a summer outfit made of white linen. It's starched and slightly pretentious, yet more simplistic and everyday appropriate than, say, Chanel No. 5. White Linen serves as a lesson in aldehydes for any perfumer. Despite being reformulated, its aldehydes remain strong enough to create a minor nuclear explosion. I consider White Linen an olfactory masterpiece. It embodies the sophistication of a bygone era and a style of perfumery now largely extinct. The soapy and citrusy aldehydes play a quintessential role in most vintage perfumes and are characteristic of French perfumery. Although White Linen is an American classic, since Estée Lauder is an American company, the style in which it was composed roots deeply in French origins and inspiration. The more I wear White Linen, the more it seems similar to YSL Paris, which is another iconic fragrance released in 1983, if I'm not mistaken. And it's composed in a similar style to White Linen, but it's got more rose, more powdery notes, but you can tell they both come from the same perfumer because the style is the same. The next fragrance that I want to discuss is Trésor from Lancôme, which was released in 1990. And back in the 90s, models and spokespersons were often involved in creating new fragrances. So Isabella Rossellini, the face of Trésor, played an important role in choosing the right formula for Trésor. So she got to choose what Trésor would smell like, and she chose a sample presented to her by Sophia Grojsman. She chose a sample that Sophia created because she was inspired by Isabella Rossellini's mother in the film Casablanca, where Ingrid Bergman played the main role. And Isabella didn't know that, but she chose that exact sample, so it was meant to be. The film deeply moved Sophia, and she transformed that experience into a perfume. Trésor then became Isabella's signature scent, and she still wears it according to her Instagram. And I find that truly amazing. It was just meant to be. It's such an amazing story behind such an amazing perfume, isn't it? Trésor is a beautiful, peachy, powdery rose scent with a touch of violet. I used up a bottle of it some time ago, and now I only have this body lotion, which smells exactly the same as the EDP. It's a beautiful, powdery scent, soft, romantic, yet strong and sweet. It's your quintessential fragrance that defines Sophia's style. Not only did Sophia start a new style, but she also invented her own accord, called the Hug Me Accord or the Grojsman Accord. She pioneered this style of soft, powdery, peachy floral scents, and Trésor is said to be based almost exclusively on this accord. The Grojsman Accord consists of hedione, a molecule that smells like jasmine, isoe super, which smells woody, the type of musk called galaxolide, and a molecule that smells like violet or iris. I'm convinced that this accord was used in many of her later creations, as they all have a similar vibe to my nose. Another fragrance created in her typical style is Elizabeth Taylor Diamonds and Emeralds from 1993. It isn't entirely clear who the perfumer was, but several sources list Sophia Grojsman, and I believe she was the nose behind this, because we know for a fact that she also created diamonds and rubies, so she probably created the entire line. Diamonds and Emeralds is an opulent white floral scent. It's a tuberose, gardenia and peach scent. This is your classic white floral bouquet with lots of sweet peach and apricot. I really like the gardenia in this. It's sweet and creamy. I also pick up some tuberose, carnation and sweet jammy peach. It opens very sweet and peachy. However, the tuberose is the star of the show. The florals in here are in full bloom. They're full of nectar and they really smell slightly indolic. The base is warm and ambery. I just adore this fragrance. It's very inexpensive, but it doesn't smell cheap. It's a sweet, vintage-style floral. It doesn't smell overly old-fashioned, but it feels very much like other Elizabeth Taylor creations. Elizabeth actually wore all of her fragrances herself, so she must have worn this one too. Diamonds and Emeralds is a beautiful, sweet and creamy floral scent. It's opulent, bold, sensual and unapologetic. It's very inexpensive. You get a lot of class for very little money. It does compare to Rare Gold by Avon, as well as the classic Fracas by Robert Piguet. However, it doesn't really smell anything like Amarige from Givenchy. In my opinion, it gets compared to Amarige quite a lot, and in my opinion, it's not a dupe for Amarige. So that was Diamonds and Emeralds by Elizabeth Taylor. Next up, I've got a classic fruity chypre from Yves Saint Laurent. It used to be called Champagne, but then it was renamed to Yvresse, which means dizziness or drunkenness. This is a vintage bottle from the late 90s. I cherish it and I use it very sparingly. It's a stunning fragrance. I'm so sad it's not available anymore. I'm not sure whether it's discontinued or not, but it's very hard to find. It's impossible to find. And as a matter of fact, I wore Yvresse on New Year's Eve. I was invited to a private celebration with some friends and I decided to wear Yvresse. So I think Yvresse fit the occasion perfectly because it's such a joyous, happy, effervescent and festive scent. It smells almost exactly like a glass of fruity champagne. It's a fruity, ambery delight, powdery with iris and violet, yet tart and jammy from the peach, apricot and lychee. There's a hint of spice, and it has that classic chypre base consisting of amber, oak moss, musk, vanilla and woody notes. It has a vintage feel, but it's sweet and fruity, so you get the best of both worlds. I find it very elegant and classy, but it's not too serious or too mature. It's the perfect party perfume, I tell you. The vintage version is on another level. The performance is incredible. So that was Yvresse from YSL. Another scent that deserves to be mentioned in this video is the classic Paris from Yves Saint Laurent. I had and used up a bottle of Paris and I absolutely loved it. It's a beautiful rose violet scent from the 80s. It has a sweet, jammy rose note and lots of powderiness, along with some other florals. It's a beautiful scent, and I think it's one of the best classic rose fragrances of all time. Another Sophia Grojsman perfume that I have in my collection is SpellBound from Estée Lauder. It was released in 1991. I unfortunately don't have the bottle with me, but I have it in my collection and I like to use it from time to time. I definitely don't use it a lot because it's a very, very heavy carnation tuberose scent. It's your bombastic, sweet and spicy tuberose scent with apricot, vintage style tuberose and a very strong carnation note. It's got a lot of carnation and it's not the most mass appealing fragrance. It kind of smells a bit like Red Door from Elizabeth Arden, and it also smells a bit like Poison, but it's stronger and it's more challenging, and it doesn't replace Poison for me because Poison is one of my all-time favourites. It will always be in my collection. I can wear it anytime, it never bothers me, but SpellBound is one that I have to be in the mood for because it's such a strong fragrance. It can really give you a headache if you're not in the mood for it. So that was SpellBound from Estée Lauder, and I think those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to talk to you about today. So let me know if you have any of them, if you like any of them, or if you hate any of them. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.